It's fairly early here this morning. It's actually 6 o'clock, but I've been awake since 4 and I'm laying up in bed and thinking, why am I laying here doing nothing? So I am coming down. I've got my oven preheating. I have my favorite things. I've got coffee, candles, and quiet for a little while. We're going to put the bread in that I did last night. I'm going to show you that. Got my cast iron pot in the oven because it preheats right from cold oven right till it reaches temp, and then I leave it in for a little bit longer just to make sure that cast iron is good and hot. And today we're going to also, I did the levain last night. I'm going to show you the next step in that process. We're going to make the bread dough, do the stretch and folds, let it proof, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight. But right now, I'm having coffee. Otherwise, yeah, I shouldn't be baking without coffee. I'm not good in the morning. I usually don't make my own coffee for that very reason. I do really silly things. One day I made the coffee in my French press and went to pour it in my cup, and I poured it in the sugar bowl. And I just went back to bed. Okay, so this morning I'm showing you the levain has set all night. Let's see if I can. You can see there's bubbles. It's hard to see, I'm sorry. Now as I move it, the bubbles are going to start popping. But it's nice and bubbly, so it's going in my bowl. Again, I use my stand mixer. You don't have to have one of these. It's not terribly hard to mix by hand. But after hurting my leg last year, I just got my leg somewhat functional, and I slipped again on water and fell and hurt my shoulder, and of course it was my right arm, which is my right arm. So I'm just finding my range of mobility is better, but it's not great. And stirring is not easy. It's hard. It just really does something. So anyway, I've got my levain in here. I'm going to add 315 grams of water and 600 grams of flour. I'll get my scale. Should have had it ready, but it's morning. And I haven't had my coffee yet. I'm working on it though. Okay, so back to zero. 315 grams of water. And it's warm water, not hot, but a little more than room temperature. Right on. We're off to a good start, guys. Typically that's not how things go in the morning. So I'm just going to stir the water and the levain together. I'm just going to say levain. I know it's probably not proper. And again, if someone else knows how to pronounce it properly, let me know. Put it in the comments. All right, flour. 600 grams. So I'm going to put this back to zero. Again, I always put my flour piled up in the middle, because if I go over, which I sometimes do, I have dry flour that I can take out to make it accurate. And speaking of accuracy, I'm going to say this probably in just about every video, you really should have a digital scale, because I can tell you, you measure out a cup of flour, see, 606. So now I can scoop from the top and take some of that out. There we go, 600. Yes, so I have tried this. I have even stirred my flour in the bin, done all the things that you're supposed to do to make it light and fluffy, scoop it in the cup. Invariably, it weighs more than a cup of flour should weigh according to grams. And that's how your dough gets messed up. And you end up having hard, let's try to be a little noisier. Then I want 2 teaspoons of salt. I'm using pink Himalayan. And I just disperse the salt in that dry flour bit just to make sure it kind of gets well incorporated. I like salt, but there's nothing worse than biting into a big hunk of salt. So I'm just mixing this dough together. I'm not kneading it. I'm just getting it combined well. And then I'm going to, it has to rest 15 minutes, and then I begin my stretch and folds. And I don't think you need to watch this run. So I will stop the video and come back. So when the dough was finished mixing, I formed it into a ball and put it in the bin. You let it rest for 15 minutes, and then you do the first stretch and fold. You'll notice that I do quite a few stretch and folds. In reality, you only need to go around the perimeter of the dough once. So that would be 4 times, just once on each side is fine. I just really like doing it. I love how the dough feels. Okay guys, so this is number 3. Stretch and fold. Again, I'm not using flour on the counter because it helps to kind of let it stick on one end so you can stretch it. And at some point I also have to hold it because it gets tighter the more you do it. And if you could feel this dough, it feels wonderful. It's smooth, it's elastic. I'm just gonna shape it in a ball. And stretching that gluten just makes it like rubber, which is what you want, because those gluten strands are getting stronger. This is smooth, just like a baby's bottom. don't know if you can see that. It's wonderful. I love kneading. So this is now going to go back in my bin. It's going to sit for at least 4 hours or till almost doubled.